because people will get you, they will get your energy, and they don't really care so much about your actual voice sound, or if you have an accent like I do, for instance. I used to think that was a huge big issue, but I've realized very quickly that actually it's no issue at all. There's very few people that even sort of notice it after 5 minutes. They get used to it, and so definitely that's the best advice you could give to anyone is to just be yourself and relax, because the worst thing you can do to your voice sound is basically if you are tense, because when you're tense you get a tense energy and a tense sound to your voice. Your voice can sound shrill, and that can be sort of annoying to listen to or unpleasant to listen to. You obviously want a warm and soothing and pleasant sound, and any voice that is properly relaxed, coming from a relaxed and comfortable person, has a naturally pleasant and warm sound. If you have an annoying sound, it's because there is something in your emotional where you are emotionally at that point in time, which comes across in your voice. It's the same thing with working with pitch. Many women are told to try to lower their pitch artificially, which I think is absurd, because it's very unnatural, it's very unhealthy for the voice. A pitch will normally drop a little bit if the person is completely relaxed and comfortable, and if you breathe properly, basically.
Right. Wow. That's great advice, Susan. Here we have another question from another chat room about, well, what if I don't like my voice? That's an interesting question.
Do you know what? That's the $1 million question, Steve, because nobody likes their own voice until they get used to it. And there is a very simple explanation for that. And that is that human beings are creatures of habit. And we are used to hearing our voice from a mix of outer and inner ear. That means we hear the inside resonance inside our heads, and we hear something from the outside. So we hear with the inner and the outer ear. But everybody else hears only the outer with the outer ear. And that is actually how we really sound. But we only hear this if we listen to a recording, for instance, of ourselves. And because it then sounds different, because then if we're listening to a recording of ourselves, we only hear then with the outer ear all of a sudden, because it's being played back to us. And then we don't recognize the sound, because it sounds different than what we're used to, and so immediately we don't like it. And so this is basically something that we just need to get used to, and the best way is to just endure the torture and keep recording yourself and listen back to it until you get used to it, and then you will start liking it.
Right, right. And I wanted to add something to that, Susan, is like, you know, if someone doesn't like their voice, that just means it's just a personal opinion they have of themselves. The public, or the people that are listening, are hearing it from a completely different place. Would you agree?
Exactly. Yeah, of course they are. They are physically hearing it from a different place, so the sound is different, but they are as well perceiving the person completely different. So absolutely, you know, we tend to be very hard on ourselves, and think that we have problems or issues that very often, or more often than not, other people, they don't even realize it, or no, realize is the wrong word. They don't even perceive it like that. They don't think that we have that issue, but we have sort of somehow told ourselves that we have an issue, in this case with our voice, and it's just a perceived problem that's not really there. It's an illusion most of the time. I mean, I have taught people, I've worked with voice in so many, 25, 30 years, and I would say 50% of the people that come to me in the beginning, they're all convinced that they have a weird, different voice. There's something wrong with their voice. It's too deep, too high, too this or that. And it's simply just an issue that they have in their head, that there is nothing wrong. with their voice. I have never encountered anyone actually that had something weird or unpleasant about their voice. I've had people with nodules, people who had physical problems that they needed to overcome. But the voice itself